Welcome to another Empires and Puzzles weekly raid tournament sneak peek preview video. Each week on either Friday or Saturday, I share the details of the upcoming raid tournament that will arrive in our game on Sunday. I will also discuss the details on the team and strategy that I will use for my tournament defense. I'm a bit late this week as I was focused yesterday on the challenge event, and I'm excited to currently be in 9th in Legendary and 44th in Rare. Let's hope they hold. In these videos, I also share the defense team that took first place the last time we had this event. I'm able to share the tournaments in advance because I've been logging the details of tournaments since they started, and this is the third cycle through a series of events. That said, there's no guarantee that the events will not be changed, but as long as they follow the recorded order, these videos should be accurate as to which event is coming each week. If you are interested in knowing each week what tournament is coming, please subscribe to the channel. Let's get into looking at this week's tournament. This week should be 5-star buff booster tournament without any ice heroes. I say should be because the first time we had this event, it was all elements available. The second round of these events, we had it without ice. So I'm betting that it's going to be without ice. So this should be 5-star buff boosters, no ice heroes. As there are no ice heroes, that means fire will be strong, as there is no element that is strong against them. Therefore, fire will most likely be the tank of choice this week. Keep in mind that having no ice heroes also means that nature is not strong against any color, so they might not be our first choice in heroes. When there is an element missing, there is a temptation to use a full mono defense thinking that all the heroes will be strong. I do not advise a full mono defense unless you have the troops and emblem usage to justify it. Otherwise, forcing mono simply adds unnecessary weakness for a slight gain. As this event is a buff booster tournament, each buff adds an attack booster. What is a buff? When your hero's special goes off and adds a special icon to your heroes that increase ability, like increased attack, increased defense, etc., that is a buff. This is true for the enemy as well. If their special goes off and adds special icons to their heroes, it is a buff for them and it will increase their attack power. There are currently 133 various 5-star heroes available in the game. 41 add buffs to one or more allies. That's roughly 31%, so basically 1 in every 3 5-stars provides some sort of buff. That figure doesn't even count all of the Hero of the Months that provide elemental links, which increase that number even more. That said, there are plenty of heroes to discuss. I'm going to start by highlighting a very special hero that adds 4 buffs, 4, to themselves and nearby allies. That hero is this month's Hero of the Month, Zulog. If you happen to have Zulog max, this would be a great time to get her into play. Setting her off once will provide a huge attack increase for this event, as the bonus attack will be multiplied by 4. Next, we should consider the heroes that provide 3 buffs. There are 3 of them available for this event, and one in particular seems very important to consider. That would be Jean-Francois. Jean is important because he is the only one that adds 3 buffs to all allies. The other 2 we're going to talk about only add the 3 buffs to themselves and nearby. Jean is also fire, which means he's strong in this event. If you have Jean maxed, you very well may want to have him in this fight. One of the other heroes that gives 3 buffs is also fire, therefore strong in this event. That is Ares. He was the 3rd Hero of the Month ever offered, so that was well before they started including elemental links, so he does not have an elemental link. If he did, that would put him up to 4 buffs too, like Zulog. Ares has a better tank number than Jean, so if you have them both, I would consider Ares on tank with Jean flank. The other 2 heroes that provides 3 buffs is Season 3 Sif. If you have her, I would also consider her for this event. There are 3 heroes available this week that add 2 buffs. Those are Kagan from Season 1, Guinevere, and Tarlac. Kagan could be a terrific tank option this week, especially with a Jean-Francois flank. As Kagan is a Season 1 hero, more players probably have him as an option. His health stat is terrific. His defense stat's a bit low for tank. However, once his special goes off, that gets bumped 64%. So he can hold his own as tank as long as he can get by the first few hits. Guinevere, if you have her, might do very well in this event, as would Tarlac. I would be cautious with Tarlac as he is nature and will not be strong against any element in this event. At this point, I'm just going to run through the list of other 5 stars that provide buffs. This list is in alphabetical order by element. I'm not listing hero of months that provide elemental links unless they provide another buff. I'm not highlighting them because we generally do not double up on heroes with the same element on defense unless one color is not available. That said, you might want to consider any fire hero of the months that have elemental links and double up some fire since they were the strongest element this week. So here is the list of other 5s that add buffs. If I miss any or you feel like I made a mistake, please post up in the comments. For darks, we have Aaron, Boss Wolf, Demisha, Kiona, Marie-Therese, Abakan, Ursina. Fire, we have Balder from Season 3, Black Knight, Alina Costume, Grazel, Guardian Kong, Mitsuku, Puss in Boots, Queen of Hearts, Tyr, and Zimkitha. Holy heroes, you have Guardian Owl, Inari, Anatel, Poseidon, Ranveer, and Vivica. Obviously not going to list any ice heroes since they are not available this week. And the nature heroes here, you want to, again, be cautious about using them as they're not going to be strong against anyone. Alberic, Atomos, Elkanin Costume, Gregorian, Guardian Chameleon, Catalin Costume, Margaret, Morgan Le Fay, and the Nerf Queen herself, Teloria. In a buff booster event, it's also important to consider heroes that remove buffs. For this event, you might want to consider Demisha, Guardian Panther, Cage Barado, and Seashot. For darks, Holy, you have Vivica Costume, and for nature, you have Evelyn, Z-Line, and Guardian Chameleon. For whatever reason, Small Giant has not given us any fire heroes that remove buffs. One hero that deserves special consideration for this event is the Hatter. I love this hero, and he recently got a very nice permanent buff to his stats. He is unique that he steals the enemy buffs and adds them to his own team. Imagine that in this event. The enemy gets a big boost of attack power from buffs, and then the Hatter steals them and gives them to his allies, which is basically stealing the attack boost plus whatever the primary benefit of the buff was in the first place. The Hatter will be an asset on offense and defense this week. One hero to be cautious about is Guardian Gazelle. She does add a buff to the entire team, but I didn't list her previously because I wanted to warn you that she adds that buff, but she also removes all other buffs you've added. I'd be very cautious about using her. In addition to these buff heroes, I always recommend serious consideration any hero that provides any type of defense down to the enemy. Now let's take a look at the winning team from the last time we had this tournament. The winning team was quite a surprise given the details of the event. They did not use a single hero that added buffs. They did not use any heroes that remove buffs. They didn't even use a fire tank. They were the only one in the top 5 that did not have a fire tank. The other ones used, there were 2 Gravemakers, a Mitsuko, and a Zimkitha as tanks. They also didn't use any healers. This just goes to show atypical teams can do very well, so do not feel that you have to blindly follow any perceived rules or suggestions, including the ones I'm making in this video. So back to the winning team. Their team power was 4586. They tanked with Jabberwock. The flanks were a second Jabberwock and Gravemaker. Their wings were White Rabbit and Kingston. White Rabbit and Jabberwock would have enjoyed a 2-hero family bonus. Although they used 3 Wonderland heroes, there were only 2 unique heroes, so the bonus was limited. Yes, it's true Kingston adds a buff with Elemental Link, but that's seriously inhibited as he was the only nature hero on the team. So, lastly, which team am I running this week? I'm leaning toward Wonderland Family Defense with Tyr in place of the missing Alice. I'll most likely be Queen of Hearts on tank, flanked by Tyr and the Hatter, with Jabberwock and White Rabbit on wings. Not super excited about this defense, but I'm low on motivation this week as the challenge event is distracting me. Maybe I'll reconsider this defense after this event ends. Feel free to share your teams in the comments below so myself and other viewers can comment on your setup. For this week's tournament, I hope your defenses are sturdy, attack strong, and tiles fortunate. Thanks for watching.